There we go, guys. Look at that. Right there. That's exactly what we're looking for. So I'm right on top of them. I'm gonna have to back away from them, make a few casts, see if I can catch one. What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of 10 Horse Money YouTube channel over here at Cedar Lake. It's coming up on noon. Got a few hours to fish, and it is cold. It's 37 degrees out here. Had a cold front move through last night. Yesterday was like in the high 50s, and the wind is blowing like 10 to 15 out of the north. So wind chills are below freezing. It's my day off. Wanted to come over here and check this place out, see what happens after a cold front. It could be very tough. Maybe they're biting. I don't know. You never know until you get out there. I got a bunch of stuff in the boat. I got all my heavy duty winter outfit stuff. I mean, I got a bunch of layers and I'm going to need them. I got the hot hands going. You know, if you guys don't use hot hands, it's very critical in the winter. Put them in the back of your gloves. Keep the tops of your hands warm. We're gonna dump this boat in and see what happens. Really don't know what to expect, but as the day goes on, I'll talk about what I learn and what I discover. Hopefully we'll catch some fish. Let's go. Just focusing on this stretch that's got some wind. You know, I put the boat in, ran down the lake a little bit, and the wind's blowing in on this bank. It's got some secondary points, got a lot of grass. I'm hearing bait in the grass. There's probably still some fish up shallow, but on an overcast day, these fish will kind of pull out sometimes, and you can catch them on the outside of this grass. So that's kind of what we're focusing on here. Just looking for irregularities in the grass, little secondary points, and working this little Berkley Stunner jerkbait. Trying to find the end of that point. It's got pretty good grass up on it. Should be one sitting out off of it. Should be. Doesn't mean he's gonna bite. He's out there. Promise you that. There he is. That's a good bite. Nice fish. Berkley Stunner. He slammed it right on the outside of this grass. That's a nice fish. Go. There we go. Look at that. T-boned it. Sucker is all tatted up, man. Skinny fish, feeding up. No wonder he hit that jerkbait. Look at those tats. Look at those tats. Fresh ink, baby. Seems like they get like this in the winter. It's nothing wrong with the fish. It's just a pigment variation. You know, I was talking to Sean Hurst about that, the fisheries biologist, and he said it's just a natural skin pigmentation. I guess similar to a birthmark in a human, but pretty nice fish. Out here testing the Berkley Stunner jerkbait. This is just a 112, not the +1. So that fish was sitting in about 5 foot of water and just smoked it. Fun bite. Water temp's like 53 degrees. I could probably catch some fish on a toad. I may try it later, but I'm gonna focus on this jerkbait today. Got a few hours to fish, and it's a good way to start it. Fish. There we go, jig bite. It's a little Cumberland Pro flipping jig. And man, this jerkbait thing's not working. I mean, I've tried and been out here playing around with it, but there's just too many fish relating in the grass or relating to the grass for me to get bit doing the jerkbait thing. Maybe it's still a little bit earlier, maybe it's just this day. I'm seeing a lot of fish down deep, and you kind of want to see them suspended for the jerkbait deal. And I'm sure there's some on the outside of the grass, but you know, it's picked up this jig. I don't know, it's fun. We're gonna play around and kind of mix it up a little bit. Threw a frog a little bit. I had one blow up on it. Actually, I had 2 blow ups on it, so that's going on. There's just kind of a mix of everything out here. You know, you come out with one technique in mind, and sometimes it doesn't work. Little underspin crappie. They're down there. There's some big ones down there eating those crappie. You just can't get them to bite. All right, there's a group of bass in that little bitty grass hump and about 15-20 yards off of that. There's a bunch of crappie out there, and there's bass relating to them. It's kind of scattered brush. Throw that underspin out there and just gonna let it sink all the way to the bottom. Then I'm gonna start my retrieve. Just super slow retrieve. If you feel them bump it, you don't set. You just kind of keep reeling. It's hard to not set, but you gotta let it load up. Just kind of keep it going at a nice little clip. Bumping a little brush right there. Might have to make 2 or 3, 4 casts through them before one of them commits, but they're definitely around here. See them on the graph. They're in the area. Just got to get it right over the top of them. There's a piece of brush right there. Another piece of brush. We're in the pile now. Great. Got it. It's a fine line between just barely ticking that stuff and running right into it. Let's make another cast. That's a little better fish. Okay, so, you know, I've been throwing that jerkbait around. There's a frog bite going on. I was idling around. Well, actually, I was on the trolling motor, and I'm seeing these fish out deep. There's a lot of fish out in like 20, and I can't get them to obviously hit a jerkbait, even if I let it slide. Threw a spoon through them, threw a, you know, a hair jig, and I've just got this 3/8 ounce Cumberland Pro Apex underspin. This is a little Kitech and sight flash, I think, but just slow rolling it through that group of bass down there. There's crappie down there. These fish are feeding on crappie. I just caught a small crappie out of that school, and you know, I can see them down there. They're pretty good sized fish down there. I think there's some fish even bigger than this. There's some stripers in this area kind of swimming around, so it's just a little area where there's a lot of activity. So just changing it up, you know, that's what it's about out here. Come to the lake with something in mind. A lot of times you got to pivot and make some adjustments. So good fish. I don't want to bump it. Some wood out there. All right, let's see if this whole auto tree works. Not that deep. There it is. That thing is awesome. Talk about saving some baits. Just drop it down there, couldn't get it off. That's what happens. Auto tree, man. Check it out. Seriously, it's worth your money, guys. There he is. I knew there was going to be a fish here. Decent fish. The underspin. Fish. Just gonna mix it up. There we go. One of those days where you just kind of got to mix it up. There's a frog bite going on for sure. Punch and bite probably, but this is a lot of fun. It's that little Apex underspin. Little Kitech. Just idling around, found a little group of shad and a little bit of bass relating to them, and
There you go. It's good quality fish. They're beautiful right now. They're really strong too. Water temp's like 54 degrees. That is a bunch of fish swimming around, having a good time. Seeing some shad flipping right in there. And the rain begins. There he is. Dang it. Missed him. There he is again. Got him that time. He came back and got it. So just saw a little group of shad flipping on top of the water and made that cast towards those shad, and now I'm hooked up. I think that fish hit it a couple times, or hopefully there's multiple fish out there. And I can make another cast and catch them. Get up in here. Decent fish. They're all decent. They are all decent. They're real chunky right now. They're just kind of getting heavy. Got a little bitty pooch on them. Yeah, good looking fish. That's fun. Just mixing it up. Mixing it up. Let's get back out there and see if we can get another one. Had 2 bites on that cast. Pulled it away from the first one. Hopefully, it's not the same fish. I don't know. Big wad of shad out there. See what happens. You know, making that cast, letting it fall all the way to the bottom, because it seems like they're on the bottom. You know, I'm not seeing much out here, but I've caught a couple fish right here, so there's obviously some fish in the area. It's on the bottom now. Just gonna kind of give it a pop to get that blade going. Just kind of slow roll it on the bottom. I'm reeling my handle pretty slow. 7-to-1 gear ratio. Just kind of keeping it steady and eddy. Steady eddy. Bump that bottom every once in a while. Just kind of speed it up. There's a few fish down there. They're just not ganged up right here. There he is. They're down there, right on the bottom. Got a boat coming too. It's another good fish. I had to really slow roll that underspin down there to get them to bite. You know, they're right on the bottom. Might throw a jig in there, but look how white that fish is. Healthy though, very healthy fish. That bait's right behind us. No, it's actually that way. Okay. There he is. Oh yeah. He's coming up. Nice. Just saw a little ball of bait off to that side of the boat. I was trying to reel it in to get it out there and come through it properly. And I guess I just pulled up through that bait and that fish smashed it. That was fun. See these fish swimming through the cone? That's kind of what I'm targeting. They're down there in about 16, anywhere from 15 to 17, something like that. Just trying to land around these fish and slow roll it over the top of this underspin. What's up, folks? I'm going to break down the day a little bit. Had a short day, you know, had a few hours to get out here and try to make something happen, and I really wanted to get on a jerkbait bite. I bought some of these Berkley Stunnas, and I was really excited to throw these around, and I like them. They cast really well. They've got a real good side-to-side action. They're slow sink, which is nice. I would much rather have something sinking than rising. You know, they got the EWG Berkley Fusion hooks on them. Really nice bait. They got several colors, and this is just a 112. They have a 112 and a 112 plus. I caught one decent fish on this, but they just didn't seem to want a jerkbait today. You know, it might be just a little bit earlier. It's just the day. I mean, they'll bite baits any time of the year, but you know, I was excited to try this. It just didn't work, so I had to kind of pivot. You know, I threw this one. I'm not sure the color, but it's kind of table rock shadish looking, and I also switched to the 112 plus one, and that's like the chrome side, black back, kind of white belly. This one gets down a little bit deeper, and I like it okay. I really like the original 112 a little bit better. It's got a little bit better action, but that's typical in a deeper diving jerkbait. It's a little more subtle, but this one's supposed to get down there around that 10-foot zone. Seems like for me it got in about 8 or 9 maybe, and of course it's slow sinking too, so if you just stop and let it get down, it's going to get down there. The jerkbait bite wasn't happening for me, and I seen fish in the area. There were fish in the area for sure. There's some hard cover, some brush piles and stuff. So I picked up this jig. This is a Cumberland Pro flipping jig. I'll leave the color below. I can't remember the color, but it got a max scent meaty chunk on there. And I picked up a fish on that. I had a couple bites that I missed. You know, they're a little bit finicky right now. The water temp's like 53, but did get a bite on that. I threw this frog slash toad around. This is the Spro Flapping Frog 65. Really cool frog. Check them out if you guys are frog, toad fishermen. Had several bites on it, but they just didn't really want it. They just kind of blow up behind it, or they might just kind of pull it down, but not really get it. Could have picked up my punching rod and kind of covered some water punching, which I love to do. You know, I was trying to take a little bit of advantage of this grass. It's starting to die. It's definitely starting to die over here. It's brown. There's still bait in it, so you can still get bit. And I would say if you put a toad in your hand and covered a bunch of water, that's probably a really good way to catch a big fish. But you're just going to have to cover a lot of water. I just didn't want to punch. I didn't have much time. Punching's a lot slower, but I think that's another way to generate a really good bite. This kind of saved the day for me. This is a 3/8 ounce Apex Underspin Kitech in sight flash color. It's a 4-inch swim bait. Got on 15-pound test, 7-foot medium heavy, smoke rod, 7-to-1 loose gear ratio. And I knew fish were in the area, but I couldn't get them to bite that jerkbait. I had a few bites on that jig, and I threw a spoon in there, threw a hair jig. You know, this is something I have a lot of confidence in this time of year, so this really saved the day for me. I managed to catch several really nice fish on it. Didn't catch a lot of fish today, didn't have a lot of time, but I'm glad I picked this up because it really salvaged the day. So you gotta mix it up this time of year. You know, pretty soon it's gonna change. You're gonna lose the grass bite as far as the mats. Your frog's gonna be out of play. Punch and bite's gonna go away, and it's gonna be a jerkbait, an A-rig, and a jig, an underspin, small swim bait type of bite. So it's just about mixing it up. You know, if you show up to the lake like I did, I was bound and determined to catch them on a jerkbait, and it's not happening. If you go through areas, you're seeing the bass, they're just not reacting. A lot of the bait was down deeper today. It started to kind of move up as the days went on. But when I first got out here, they were definitely down deep. The fish were down deep, and I couldn't reach them on that jerkbait. And I kept fishing the outside grass line, thinking that if I just covered enough water, I would get some bites, and it just wasn't happening for that. So you got to pivot. You got to make some changes. Got to make some adjustments. You know, I went through several other baits, and for today, this was what they wanted for me personally. Possibly a spinner bait, but you know, I was catching these fish out a little bit deeper. You know, the bait's kind of roaming around, and that's what you'll see right now. You see a lot of bait movement. It just kind of it'll stay in the general area, but it doesn't stay in one little spot. So it moves around. You know, forward-facing sonar would be perfect for this type of fishing. I don't have it yet, so I'm just using my side scan. Every once in a while, I'll look back at my side scan, see if I see bait moving through the area, and I'll make casts out that way towards the bait. That's really the only thing I can do right now until I make that adjustment and move up to that mixed technology. A lot of money though, But that's all I got for you. If you got any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. I'll leave links to these baits in that description box. And thanks for coming along. Until next time.